Regrettably, the religious freedom enjoyed by American citizens is rare in the world. Approximately 80% of the world's population live in countries where religious liberty is threatened, restricted, or even banned.
Pew Research in June last year reported that Christians are being harassed in 144 countries. That's up 34% from 2007, when it was only 98 countries. So this is definitely something on the increase, and I don't think American Christians can any longer ignore what really is happening to their brothers and sisters around the world.
As we speak, Jews, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Sikhs, Yazidis, and many other people of faith are being jailed, sanctioned, tortured, and even murdered, often at the hands of their own government.
The persecution of Christians is happening in 3 places primarily: in about 40 Muslim countries, in India, the world's largest democracy, at the hands of radical Hindus, and also in the remnant communist countries like North Korea and in China.
Well, in China, there have been reports for a number of years that Christianity is flourishing and growing and expanding, that there are an untold number of people who are becoming Christians in China. What we're also seeing is a recent crackdown on Christians and on churches. Crosses being destroyed off of churches so that people can't tell this is a church. Churches being destroyed, being bulldozed. Bibles online being censored. If you're in China, now you're not able to access a Bible online. And so we see this silencing, this crushing of public displays of Christianity in China.
They are atheists. This is doctrine to them. And so they don't agree with faith. And they've taken over now the regulation of religion in the country from the government, and they've come much more aggressively. And now they're deploying these new technologies of hundreds of millions of cameras all over the country, posted in the churches, artificial intelligence systems behind that, sifting through the data to determine whether you're a person that's too religious by their determination, and somebody that they should see that, well, your apartment lease doesn't get renewed, you get let go from your job, your kids can't go to the school you want to go to because you're too religious by their definition.
As bad as persecution is in China today, it is worse in North Korea.
In an authoritarian regime, the only final answer to power is the regime itself, be it the party or the totalitarian ruler. So Kim Jong-un is God to the people of North Korea, and to have a God above that, to worship the one Lord Jesus Christ, goes against everything that totalitarian regime pushes forward and imposes upon the people.
Also in Asia, in India, Christians are facing terrible persecution recently, which has not been the norm in the second most populated country on earth.
In India, Hindu nationalism is growing, and it's a very extreme and violent form of nationalism that seeks to ethnically cleanse Christians out of the country. Now, there are some states of India. India is a huge country, so there are some states in India in which Christians have a large population, and so they've been able to continue to practice their faith. But in other states in India, there's been a horrible persecution of killings, burning of homes and villages, and a form of ethnic cleansing, where Christians are not able to get an education, to go to school, to get certain jobs. And so we should be praying for Christians in India that their faith would flourish as well, and that they would not be intimidated.
And of course, some of the fiercest persecution of Christians comes from the hand of Muslims in various countries.
I met with a guy yesterday in Iran that was beaten, taken in, arrested multiple times, hung upside down, and then his persecutor at one point rolling a bullet around in his hand and saying, every Every Christian should have one of these threatening his life right there. And you hear those gripping stories of people, and they're all true, and it's happening in the world today.
One of the worst places for Christians to be is in a Muslim majority country. If you were a Muslim and you converted to Christianity, you have a target on you.
We've seen in Turkey, for instance, in 1902, 20% of the population was Christian. Now, less than 0.02% of the population is Christian.
In Africa, as Muslim extremists, as Islamism has spread, it's become even more dangerous for Christians. In a place like Somalia, it's incredibly dangerous to profess faith in Jesus Christ. We seem to be at an almost unique time in history in which we see massive growth of Christianity, but at the same time, an increase in persecution and oppression of Christianity. And so it seems that there may be a link between the two, and I have to go back to what Jesus said. Jesus said, if I am persecuted, you will be persecuted as well.
I think if there was a global setting of some minimal standards of religious freedom, that you can't kill another person for their faith, that we don't lock people up for having a different faith than the majority faith. Just really basic standards that you could try to start pulling the world towards.
Most people in the world don't understand that there is a worldwide war being waged against Christians.
Today, with one clear voice, the United States of America calls upon the nations of the world to end religious persecution.